Whether you're into comedians roasting each other's life choices or turning yesterday's bad decisions into today's funny stories, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Download the Amazon Music app and get in on the joke. Or go to amazon.com/ad-free comedy. That's amazon.com/ad-free comedy to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
You know what? I'm like sick and tired of people and evil, so just give me food. Like a buffet. Lots of it.
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here with Jamie. Man, like we can't even go to church anymore without feeling like we have to look over our shoulders. Humanity has never ceased to amaze me.
Continues to reach a new low, continues to spread violence. At this point, my mother actually texted me about this case to make sure that nobody that I knew and loved was involved and that kind of thing. And I hadn't even heard of it. Like, it wasn't even blowing up the news the way you would expect it to, especially being this close to us. I saw like 2 news alerts later on, but I found out from my mom.
Yeah, so this past Sunday, July 13th, you and I were actually working church security.
That's interesting. We really were.
Yeah, so I was up in what's called the Crow's Nest and was doing some stuff with like audio visual recording, and I was supposed to be like patrolling, but I had this other obligation, but I kind of made up in my mind that I'm just going to observe the large sanctuary and then notify the police if something happens. But this one does hit close to home because it was in our backyard. We were working church security at the same exact moment that this happened. So July 13th, 2025, just this past Sunday, it was an ordinary morning in Lexington, Kentucky, but it quickly turned horrifying. So what began as a routine traffic stop quickly escalated into a multi-location shooting involving law enforcement and a church. So by the end of this ordeal, it would leave 3 innocent people dead, including the perpetrator, who was not innocent. So sorry about that. And then 3 more wounded. So why don't you tell us, like, where did this all start?
Yeah, it all started off by a traffic stop at 11:35. A state trooper stopped a vehicle on Terminal Drive out near the Bluegrass Airport based on a license plate alert.
And I had just flew into there like the day before.
Right.
So I'm very familiar with this area.
The driver, identified as 47-year-old Guy E. House, which sounds like a made-up name you would give somebody if you didn't want them to find you out, opened fire on the officer, striking the trooper multiple times. Now, the trooper did survive, is currently in stable condition. Looks like he's going to be okay, but that had to be traumatic.
Of course. And after shooting the trooper, he then hijacked another car. So he fled east towards Lexington, which was about 15 or 16 miles away. So law enforcement tracked him via air support and mobile units as he headed towards a church, Richmond Road Baptist Church. I mean, right in the heart of Lexington.
It really is. And, you know, if you haven't been to Lexington, not exactly a booming metropolis, pretty small city if you scale it to some of the nation's biggest cities, but it is very spread out. If you look at it on a map with horse farms surrounding it and that kind of thing. But Richmond Road is one of the main roads that goes straight.
Probably the most recognizable road in all of Lexington.
He burst through the doors of Richmond Road Baptist Church at 12:30 on Sunday during a fellowship lunch attended by several families, many of whom were related to one another, a small community. Seeking his children's mother, his ex-girlfriend, he demanded to know where she was. When told that she wasn't there that day, he chillingly declared, "Someone's going to have to die," and then opened fire on the innocent people at the church, again, that had nothing to do with him. He was there looking for his ex-girlfriend, but he opened fire and struck some members of the congregation.
Yeah, there were actually 2 fatalities. So Beverly Gum, she was 72 years old. She was like the matriarch of the church. She was shot in the chest after attempting to dodge the first shot. And then also Christina Combs, that was Beverly's daughter. She was a mother of 5. She was shot and killed outside the church. Now shot, but not fatality, but injured was Jerry, which was Beverly's husband. He was the pastor, and he was wounded. Also Randy, who is Christina's husband, and he is currently in critical but stable condition. And of course, the wounded state trooper remains in stable condition. But yeah, so responding officers had to engage House in a shootout at the church. He was fatally shot at the scene, which ended this rampage. But like, if there's one place on this earth that you would want to feel at home and safe, it is at your local church. And so to have this one and then another one just a couple of weeks ago up in Michigan, like, I don't know, it makes guys like us and all of our buddies who are on the church security team just to be even more vigilant.
And, most of the time I'm sitting there, I'm walking on patrol, and I'm like, man, no, but nothing's going to happen here. What am I doing? And I think that's what everybody believes until something does happen there, because this guy wasn't necessarily on their radar as a danger to their church. Looking back, he had a lengthy criminal record of drug abuse, including fleeing from police, firearm violations, and meth use. He had been on probation from an incident in February of 2023 for endangering the lives of officers. An emergency protective order had been filed against him in early July from his ex-girlfriend who he was looking for, and a domestic violence hearing was scheduled for Monday, July 14th. So he was going to have to go to court to see her that day. John, yeah, like you said, it's super scary. There's some body cam footage that they're reviewing. Obviously, this guy is not going to be able to be held accountable. And so many of these shooters that go on rampages end up with what is essentially suicide by cop, where they engage police in a way that they know is going to end in their demise. And I don't know, am I wrong to say that's the cowardly way out of this situation?
Yeah, if that was what he was doing, yeah, absolutely. That's cowardly. And then the fact that innocent people died as a result of that. This is a tragic case. It's one that is definitely weighing heavy on our hearts, our community's hearts. Lexington and surrounding areas are impacted by this because that sense of security that you feel in what should be a sacred place has been tainted a little bit. So our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to those that were impacted by this. That entire church are in my prayers. I'm sure they're in yours too, Jamie.
Absolutely. Such a scary situation. It's not just churches. I mean, kind of feel the same way about schools, and that's become, unfortunately, one of the most common places of attack. So, yeah, I don't know. This is pretty heartbreaking. I hate to have to report on this, but those are the details. And like I said, he's not going to be held accountable. So they may find out more about the details of what happened or what led to him being there, but the damage is done and there will be no justice.
Yep. Guys, thank you for tuning in each and every week. Sorry, this one was kind of a Debbie Downer of what is normally a lighthearted episode of True Crime to Go, but felt like this was important to get it out to you.
This has been another crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
Ever notice how ads always pop up at the worst moments? When the killer's identity is about to be revealed. During that perfect meditation flow. On Amazon Music, we believe in keeping you in the moment. That's why we've got millions of ad-free podcast episodes, so you can stay completely immersed in every story, every reveal, every breath. Download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.